Alright guys, so in your booklet on transformations and translations and reflections and rotations, I want you to go to composition of transformations. Now the word composition is like a compilation of things. It's a lot of things put together. So the composition of transformations is you're following a sequence of transformations. So you're doing more than one thing. You may be rotating, translating, and then reflecting. So you're doing more than one thing on this. Our learning target for today says, I can draw compositions of transformations in the coordinate plane. So what we're going to do is we're going to write down our coordinates for our pre-image, and then we're going to see what it tells us to do in the instructions, and we're going to follow it from there. If you need to keep out your excuse me, your reference sheet, keep out your reference sheet, or we can flip back in here. So for example 1, it says triangle TRY is translated from our original, left 4 units, down 3 units, and then rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin. So this time we're actually going to use counterclockwise. It says graph and list the new vertices. So let's start with the coordinates for TRY. T is -1, 2. R is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Y is 2, 2. And we're going to start with our translation. Now to translate, it says x minus 4 and y minus 3. So from our x coordinates, we're going to subtract 4. From our y coordinates, we're going to subtract 3. Alright, so our t prime, -1 minus 4 would be -5. And then 2 minus 3 is -1. And again, we got that because we just took these coordinates right here and we plugged it in. Alright, so then remember your first one's x, your second one's y, and if you need to draw that to help you, that's fine. This is x minus 4, y minus 3. Alright, so now 3 minus 4 for r prime is going to give us -1, and 4 minus 3 is going to give us +1. And y prime, 2 minus 4 is -2, and 2 minus 3 is -1. Alright, so now I'm going to graph this. So for t, remember we're going left 4, down 3. So I'm going to go left from the origin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down 1. This is t prime, that's that coordinate. R prime is left 1, up 1. And y prime is left 2, down 1. So that's our translated image. Oops, sorry. And now we're not done. It says translate it this many units and then rotate 90 degrees counterclockwise about the origin. This should be a CCW, not CW. So then to rotate counterclockwise, I'm going to go to my rotations. It says 90 degrees counterclockwise. I'm going to find 90 degrees counterclockwise, which is 270 clockwise. So for this time, you swap them and then change the sign of the Y. So I'm going to write that right here. So T double prime, because now we've moved it twice. I'm going to swap these, and I'm going to change the sign of my y value. So that's going to become 1, negative 5. And remember, when it says negative y, that doesn't mean that you leave it a negative. That literally means that you change the sign. It's the opposite of whatever y is. R double prime, we're swapping and we're changing the sign. And y double prime, we're swapping and we're changing the sign. And that's our new image. So now we're going to graph it. We're going to go right 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go left 1, down 1. And right 1, down 2. Ta-da! So we rotated it 90 degrees counterclockwise or 270 degrees clockwise. So all we're doing here today is we're putting our composition, we're putting our transformations that we've learned together into a composition. So we're making more than one move, which is how we went from the blue, which is our first one, to the pink, which is our second one, to the green, which is our final one. And that's kind of what you're doing in your project, your bonus project that's due Wednesday that you must do if you're failing my class. You're doing the same thing. So it's going to be beneficial if we make this chart in your project and if we get used to seeing this chart this way. And plus it says graph and list the new vertices in the direction, so you need to be doing that. All right, let's look at what this says as example 3, but it should be example 2. Super sorry. All right. It says, find the new coordinates of triangle LMN when rotated 90 degrees clockwise about the origin and then reflected in the x-axis. So these are coordinates for L. So let's go ahead and write those down for our pre-image. 3, 1, negative 1, 6, negative 3, 2. And we're also going to go ahead and graph this just so we can see what it looks like and we have an idea of what it should look like at the end. So right 3, up 1, left 1, up 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, that's M, left 1, 2, 3, up 2, that's N. Use this protractor so that my lines are straight. All right, now this says to rotate it 90 degrees clockwise, so the CW is correct this time. And we're going to go look back at our rotations. We're going to find 90 degrees clockwise. It says swap them and change the X. So I'm going to write that above here. We're going to Y negative X. So that means we're going to swap it and change our X value. So our L prime is going to be 1, negative 3. Because we swap it and change the value of X. All right, our M prime, what is that going to be? It's going to be 6, positive 1, and I hope at least someone said that, because you swap them and change the sign of your X. And our N prime is going to be 2, 3. So now let's graph. We're going to go right 1, down 1, 2, 3. That's L prime. M prime, right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, down 1. And N prime, right 2, up 1, 2, 3. that's a positive 1, Blair. You should go up. Super sorry, guys. I was looking at this thinking that does not look like the same triangle. And if you used a pencil, you can erase. Unless you're like me and you use marker, then it's not correct. So I'm going to go over it in darker. And I'm also going to go through this and make sure I actually graphed all of this right. Because I'm a crazy person this morning. Okay, so this one is L prime. This one is M prime. This one is N prime. Now it looks like our original image. Yay, I did that one right. Look at me go. And it's okay if you make mistakes. But remember, you need to make sure that you're watching what you're graphing, that you're going back and looking at your coordinates, and that you're paying attention, unlike what I just did. All right, the last one that we're going to graph is reflect in the x-axis, because remember, we have 1, 2, 3 triangles that we need based on this. It says to rotate at 90 degrees and then reflect in the x-axis. So we're going to look back at our reflections page. The x-axis reflection means that you keep them, but you change the sign of y. So this is x negative y. And remember, it's not changing the original. It's changing the one we just did. So we're using this one that we just did to reflect it, not the original one. All right, so L double prime. They stay in the same order, but we change the sign of our y. So that's 1, 3. 6, negative 1, which is going to be that point. N is going to be 2, negative 3. So we keep them in that order. We're just changing the sign of the y. So for L double prime, we're going to go right 1, up 3. 6, negative 1 is the coordinate I messed up on. And right 2, down 1, 2, 3. This is L. This is M double prime. This is N double prime. Ta-da! Ooh, that looks a little chaotic, but that's okay. Now, when you're doing these, I highly suggest that you use different colors so that you can keep up with your translations or what you're doing with your different transformations. And that way you can make sure you have, like, list your coordinates in different colors, draw your picture in different colors so you can go back and check it. All right, now you have this worksheet that you're going to do. I would like you to get 1 through 4 done tonight. And tomorrow we're going to come back and practice some more on this. But I want you to get 1 through 4 done tonight. Now it says triangle ABC has the vertices, so you're going to use this triangle every single time. But it's going to give you different things that you need to do. So you're going to need to use your booklet or your reference sheet to be able to do this. So we're going to do 1 through 4 tonight, or right now. If you want to work ahead, you can. And then remember, your project is due Wednesday. If you're failing my class, it is mandatory. Have a good day.